Okay. I think my voice is loud enough. We make a short opening of this conference, but there are few messages by different people, yeah, because it's not me alone, yeah. And okay, I founded the thing, but there is a group of people who are contributing to it, and of course there is more people in the room who are helping with it, yeah. So this is the 24th conference, which means there were 23 conferences before. We also always planned 4 years in advance, so it's planned next year in Spain, then in Scotland, and then in Temeswar in Romania. So it means that next year we will announce again where it goes the next 4 years. Usually it goes after some time always back to Germany or Austria, but we are in agreement which place it will be then in 2020. Just to show a little bit the background, I will ask Rory to do a few slides. Is he inside? Yes. Yeah, okay. You changed the place because it was there.
Yes.
He's playing hide and seek with me. Yeah. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. As I look around, I think I know most of you at this stage, or maybe most of you know me, but if you don't, my name is Rory O'Connor from Dublin City University, and I'm the person that sends you those nasty emails about your paper. Your paper is late, your proceedings is not correct format. I'm sorry, but that's me. What I want to do is just take a few minutes to talk about the relationship with Springer and the benefits to all of us. Because sometimes it's maybe not so obvious. As an academic, it's very important to me to publish in an outlet that is prestigious, that gets visibility. But maybe to some of you in more industrial backgrounds, maybe you don't care so much or you don't understand the same way or have the same requirements. But actually it's very interesting to see the reach of the audience. So just to talk about it, so this is the 14th anniversary of EuroSPI's relationship with Springer Verlag. So for the last 14 years we've been publishing with them. For the first couple of years, the first year they published under the heading LNCS, Lecture Notes in Computer Science, and they started a new book series, CCIS. A new book series for them is, in fact, the only new book series they've created in the last 15 years. And they asked us would we join that as a book series, and we have done ever since then. And the proceedings have grown from 204 to a whopping over 750 pages today. Okay, so really we have grown a lot in what we are doing. And there it is, just a little history. And I have all of these. If any of you are ever on Skype with me, in the background of my office, all of those books are behind me. I'm very proud to have copies of all of those. But just a little bit about maybe the impact of all of these. Okay, what does it mean? It means actually a community. Richard talks a lot about community and people working together. So as a community, there's a lot of people working together. So all the editors of the book, so Richard, who's been editing these books since the very beginning, myself for the last 9 years, and then we see a series of many different names, and I look around the room and I see many of the people that are here today, names appearing there. So it's bringing people into a wider community like that from the point of view of editing the books. But the real impact is on who's reading it. Now this is the official statistics from Springer Verlag as of last Friday. So a total of 151,559 chapter downloads. So that's individual people downloading individual chapters from the EuroSPI series on Springer since 2004. I think that's very impressive. What's more interesting is that's only a portion of the story. If you then go looking to see where do papers get published, obviously Springer, it's a commercial company, they're there and they're selling papers on the website. People also have physical books, but also it's within the copyright agreement with Springer. And for example, as a university, I could host, not the publisher's PDF, but my own copy of the paper on my institutional archive, as my university could publish the paper. And as I look around, I looked for example, for my most cited EuroSPI paper, and I googled it, and I found it was on my university website by me. It was on Claude Laporte's university website as my co-author. Simon Alexander had it on researchergate.net, and it was on Springer. So 4 different places. The only one I could check apart from Springer was my own, and I was a deceiving number of downloads. And that was an extra 4,500 downloads over the years. So this figure actually is very conservative. So the reason I show you this is to say we have a very big reach. I think that's very important. to know that we have a very, very big reach. I'm going to even just focus maybe on the last year's book, which is only 11 months. So 5,000 chapter downloads, if you look at that. So in the last 11 months alone, so a big spike the minute the book gets published. But consistent, and actually there's lots of versions of this data, so I won't bore you with it. But one of the interesting things is looking back over prior years, going back 5, 6, 7, 8 years, still consistently high downloads associated with those papers. So once again, the impact of your work is getting out there, people are reading it, a lot of people are reading it. Just out of curiosity, if you're interested, from last year's proceedings, the top 3 most downloaded papers. What does it tell you about topics and emerging trends? By the way, the next 3 were all automotive functional safety. Sorry guys, but you know, we win in gamification. But I think that's really interesting. The most downloaded papers were gamification papers. So I'm certainly for next year, for the 25th year, I'm going to do a proper formal analysis of EuroSPI papers. But one thing we can do is maybe spot the trends over the years. So I think that's something that's very interesting. And just in case you're interested, the top 3 most cited, actually it's 4 because it's a draw for second place. And again, we have one of the gamification papers inside there as well. But actually, I think, Gabriella, if you hear terminology coming in, very important again, gamification. So it's interesting just to see, you can maybe learn a little bit more like that. So my message really for you was, it's a continuing relationship we have with the publisher. There's a huge reach. So just in case you weren't aware, there's a lot of people reading this, and there's a huge reach out there into the community for the work you do. So what can we say, but be part of it. This time next year, have a paper in the proceedings, and I look forward to seeing you next year already. Okay, thank you very much.
Also, we have a relationship with Wiley, so Miklós, because Wiley is also a journal supporting us since years.
So, in addition to the Springer proceedings, EuroSPI offers the opportunity to publish in a journal publication, and for that we have the Wiley special issue edited by myself, Bernhard, and Colombo Palacios, who cannot be here, unfortunately, today. Well, from 2004 to 2008, we had the Software Process Improvement and Practice Journal, which was changed to the Journal of Software Evolution and Process, which is still running today. And it still, of course, continues the tradition of the old journal, and is indexed by most of the well-known indexing sites like ISCN Digital Library, Elsevier, Compendex, and so on, DBLP. An independent, kind of independent opinion about the value and quality of the special issue is reflected by the editor-in-chief's introduction to a EuroSPI collection, which Wiley published earlier, including 10 years of the special issues, and we will work on extending this virtual collection in the future with the papers since then. But all of these papers from 2004 to 2013 are freely accessible on the Wiley website, and the opinion of the editor-in-chief is that they discuss and explore new trends in developments in the area of process improvement. We really select the best papers with industrial experience value. There is a valuable guidance from the International Program Committee, and these papers provide a unique opportunity to gauge the current state and the potential value of empirical process research in Europe. So it has a European and worldwide impact, as is in the mission of EuroSPI. and shows the progress made in our discipline over the years.
Okay. Still, due to EuroSPI and out of EuroSPI, we formed some years ago an idea to package knowledge into certification training courses. So Reiner is here.
Yes.
Yeah. And we formed the European Certification and Qualification Association, where he's the president.
Thank you. Well, yeah, thanks, and welcome from my part. The reason why the ECQA was formed was to have a certification scheme that fits not only universities but also the industry. So we checked out the industry needs, we checked out the university suggestions, and we brought those two together. That's one of the reasons why we really like to be at the EuroSPI, because that's one of the few conferences where you have a lot of industry and a lot of universities together. We generated those skill cards that you most probably all know, and we improved those skill cards over the years. We dropped out some skill cards, we generated new ones. So it's a living system. It's not something that was generated years ago and that runs like this for the next 10, 15 years. It changes, so that's the reason why we're here, because we have a lot of people contributing to that, and that's what I want to invite you. Whenever you see something that fits you or that doesn't fit you, talk to us. We have an open ear, we hear what is the change, what is the future, where do you want us to go, what is it that will be needed by industry or by university, how can we integrate it into the university so that the students there get more hands-on experience. And that's what we want to do. We want to support those job roles and improve them over the time. We started as a European project, as Richard pointed out, but if you look at our members now, and thanks so for being here, we quite have a variety of not European countries already working together, contributing and being members for the ECQA. And that is something that we are now more and more seeing, that we're not only looking at the European way, but we're getting a worldwide way and worldwide views. Not that I believe that we will be able to have one job role certified worldwide in the same manner, because it is not the same job role over the world, which we clearly see. But we want to have certification schemes that work worldwide, and that perhaps have local or countrywide specificas. And more important, the ECQA is a partnership of friends. That means we're all contributing together. We're not looking forward to really only concentrate on the work, but we want to be together, and that's one of the reasons why we really like to be at the EuroSPI. Thanks.
Okay. If this is really true that gamification is the biggest impact on downloads, that's one that hasn't been packaged as a certificate with training so far for the industry. Okay? So, good. The next one is Bernhard, because most of us who are founding these things were also assessors, and so we are linked back to the assessor community. So Bernhard will announce something as well. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Richard. So, welcome to the EuroSPI 2017, also from my side. Bernhard Sechser, I think most of you already know me. I took part in nearly all of the EuroSPI conferences since 7 or 8 years. Index is an assessor community, an assessor certification scheme, well known in the automotive industry, of course, but it's not only for automotive assessors and projects and companies, but for any kind of domain. Index is supporting any kind of process improvement activity, not only the assessment topics. Most of the assessors, not only the evaluation scheme, but also improvement topics are supported. And for those of you not knowing the structure behind Intex, just this picture that summarizes a little bit the structure. So in the middle of the center of this picture, you will see the assessors. The assessors contributing from the standardized rules, the certification scheme, It's a scheme similar to the ECQA job role schemes. That is really a standard scheme for any assessor, not like for safety, for example, where the different companies cannot agree on a standardized scheme, how to train a safety manager or a safety expert. So each company has its individual scheme, but for SPIs, for assessment topics, we have this now since 2005, so more than 11 years now, and it's really well established. Of course, with the support of automotive industry. On the next page you will see the number of assessors. I think these are the figures from this year's VDA conference. So we have more than 3,000 assessors all over the world who took part in the different courses. Mainly the traditional assessor course. Not all of them are active. So currently we have, I think, around 1,300 active assessors in the industry, and most of them in automotive. So VDA QMC is a certification body for automotive SPIs assessors. And we have ECQA here as a certification body for all non-automotive SPIs assessors. We hope that this number will also increase in the future. We have some ideas how to push this, but we need some strong organizations behind it, like VDA, that pushes such a scheme in a specific domain. But we try to do this, and one of our plans is for next year's EuroSPI conference to establish also a so-called Gate for SPIs meeting. Gate for SPIs are the meetings where the assessors can exchange their experiences. There are some new interesting topics upcoming during the next year. So the VDA will publish soon, in a few days, hopefully, a new assessor guideline. And there were already a lot of discussions how to use this guideline. Is it really useful? Is it still in the sense of evaluating project, or is it more to calculate a result? And this will lead to a lot of discussions. Maybe a topic for next year's Gate for SPIs event. We will do it just the day before the conference days next year. So the time is not fixed yet, but we will announce it.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.